Good morning, Iryna.
Good morning, Stefano.
Not Iryna, Iryna. And I know it's very important for you, as when we underline in my previous conversation, Dimitro, not Dimitri.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is it important to underline that your name is Iryna and not Iryna?
Because we have similar names in Russian language, Iryna, and in Ukrainian language, Iryna. And it is nice to hear my name and pronunciation in Ukrainian language. Yeah, it is similar names, but it is different names, Iryna and Iryna.
Of course. Iryna, we are here to talk about you and your story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you know, because of this web series, which I call War as Reset, that I'm not neutral. I stand with Ukraine. And I think the aggression of Putin's and Putin Russia is barbaric. And as Jungians, I think it's very, very important, before to start any analysis, in looking into symbolism, looking into what is this from an archetypal point of view, it's very important to condemn what is happening. Mm-hmm. So the barbaric attack of Russia against Ukraine. Mm-hmm. Very, very important also to not commit the same mistake that Jung committed to analyze National Socialism and Hitler from an intellectual point of view and being understood as closer to National Socialism, which was not the case. Iryna, can you share with us your story? Where are you now? Where are you from? Mm-hmm. What happened to you in the past 2 months?
Mm-hmm. Now I'm in Poland, in Toruń with my son and with my colleague, my friend and her children. We live together now, and we leave Ukraine just after starting it. So we were 2 days, and then we decided to went to Poland. So we how to say it? We only touch all these circumstances inside. But we still all the time, especially me, I'm still there all the time. So now I'm in Toruń. I work as an analyst. I'm still working I keep my practice online. And also we have a great support here in Poland. From our colleagues in the university, because I'm not only analyst and psychotherapist, I also academic teacher in the university, and here we have great support from this side, academic side. Colleagues were very supportive. They give us flat. One of director of the institute give us flat to live for this time, and now we are trying to adapt. And also university supports academics. We can do some research according to the war. And we can also have some financial support from the university. So it is like that. And also, what is nice, what is good, that our children can go to kindergarten, to school, and also they have this opportunity to integrate with people, to communicate with people. So I think that it is nice part of all this. I mean that we meet nice people here.
It seems you were able to find a safe spot. Yeah. And people around you are supportive and empathic. But let's go step by step.
Yeah.
The war started on the 24th of April. Where were you? You didn't say where you are from. Where are you from?
I'm from Lviv. From Lviv, it is western part from Ukraine. It is very close to Poland, and that's why I think it is more easy for us to move.
And it has been attacked little compared to other cities, but you decided to leave as soon as the war started. Why?
Yeah. For me, it was difficult because of those. I don't know how to say it in English. Alarms. Yeah.
Alarms, yes.
Alarms, which were all the time, and because of those alarms, we have to go to this bomb-proof, yeah.
Shelter.
And to hide. And when you are alone, or when you are grown or adult, you can do it all the time in the middle of the night, for example. But when you have a child, it is very stressful. Yeah. Because my son was stressed, he was afraid of those alarms. And just after we was in Lviv only 2 days, but it was enough for fearing for his feeling anxiety when we came here to Poland. Children were reacting for all signals of the cars. So it was enough for.
Yeah. Oh, my mama.
It was not long, of course. It was I don't know, several days, but they were reacting. They were looking for something in the sky. So 2 days. 2 days did something for them. I can't even imagine what is going on with children who are still there and still. And in Lviv, we have only those attacks where was more on this military structure. But I can't even imagine what is going on when children are all the time in those bomb-proofs. So it is difficult.
You felt anxious. How did you feel when the war started and the alarms went off?
It's very.
I know it's a difficult question, Iryna.
Yeah, it is difficult question, and I will give you. I think, very strange answer, because my first reaction that I were not reacting. I have very strong defense, because when I had those alarms, I thought that it is not alarms because rockets are going to Lviv. I thought that these alarms is because war starts and people have to know that war starts. It was like my imagination, that it is like informing alarms, but it was not informing alarms. It was real alarms. And when my son get up because of those alarms, he ran to me and told why we are not going to those bomb-proofs.
The shelters.
And I told him that because it is informative alarms. It was my explanation, that it was like I was very, very defensive, very rejecting of this situation. And then he told me that at school, they were said that when they will hear alarm, they have to go to hide. And only after that, it come to my mind that really it is rule that we have to hide. So it was like that, So I cannot believe it.
No, yeah. Nobody could believe that such an attack could happen in Europe. So what happened? You took your stuff, and what did you do? I want people to hear, not only from the newspaper that are so banal these days, but I want people to hear from this conversation, really step by step, what happened. After your son told you this, you really realize.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What did you do? Did you pack? Did you go to the train station? Did you walk to the border? What happened?
We were, it was in the morning, so we were at home, me, my husband, and my son, so we were at home. And my husband go to fill his car with
gasoline.
Yeah. And at the morning, it was, I suppose, 5:30 at the morning. It was a very long
queue.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Queue. So very long. He was, I think, 3 hours on those queues. So people were reacting like that they have to fill in cars with. And I still at that day I still have several consultations, several online, of
Patients.
course. Yeah, patients. And I was shocked. There was shocked. Everyone. The next day. The next day, I counsel all patients. I asked to move to the next, and we were preparing to going to to the Poland. But I will tell that it was not easy decision to go to Poland, you know, and when I find myself hesitating, it surprised me, and then I decided to go, because at first I didn't want, because I thought, how can I go when everyone is staying? But in the other side, I have to protect my son, my child. So it was very strong inner conflict, which was very painful for that moment. And then when I find myself in this situation that I'm hesitating, I thought that when it is peace, when before the war, I wouldn't hesitate to go to Poland, because we're studying in Poland. I'm still in the training in Poland. So I'm used to go to Poland when I want. I can go there, but at that moment I was so hesitating, and I tell to myself that I can go to Poland, and if I feel like I cannot stay here, I can come back. And only this position helped me to go and to take son and to go abroad. Only this position, that every moment of the future I can come back if I feel like that it is good idea.
So your husband went to fuel the tank of the car. There was a long queue. Then what happened?
Yes, it was long queue. It was long queue. Then I would tell that. Then my husband wanted me to send to his relatives in Poland. And we sit down to the car. We go in the direction to the border, and we start with our friend who has also a family. And in the middle of this queue in the border, these our friends decided not to go. We decided also to come back, and then I called to my another friend who has her own car, to Oksana, who have own car, because I have no car. Only my husband have. Only he can bring me to the border. And then we decided to go together, 2 women and 3 child, and we
why did they decide to go back?
To go back because we cannot, you know, it was the plan was like that this wife of our friend can go and can drive, and we put all our children in one car, and our husbands go back to Lviv. It was our plan, but they decided not to go, and I was alone. I thought that it will be difficult to get after the border to relatives, you know. And when we are going, we thought that in a week we will come back. So we didn't think that we are going for 2 months, for example, how it is now, now. And then I called to Oksana and to my friend Oksana, and we decided to go together with our child and using her car.
How long was the queue to pass?
Oh, it is. We were in queue with those 3 childs for. I have to count. It was 24 hours plus. It was 36, I think, hours. So it is 1 day and a half. 2 days, 2 days, and 1 night.
Wow.
So we get to Poland to our relatives in the evening of the 2nd day.
Wow.
Afternoon. So I don't remember.
What was the reason that it took so long? Of course, we know this sounds a stupid question, but it doesn't want to be a stupid question. We know that there were thousands of people in the border. What happened at the border? Did the military stop you? Did the police stop you?
Nothing. It was very, I think it was very, they organized it very well. But a lot of people. It was 30 kilometers. This queue was 30 kilometers. So it was very, very, very long queue. I suppose that we could wait even more longer. But my friend Oksana has small child. She is less than 3 years, and we were trying to ask or even without asking to go without queue. And in our rules of crossing the border, we have that people who have in the car a child smaller than 3 years can go without queue. But still, it was so long. So we did some movements to make it shorter, but still it was very long.
Can you tell me your feelings during these 36 hours?
I think that at that moment we all were in mania. I think it was like that. So it was very excited. It can be strange, but I think that, and just after crossing the border, I touch a lot of to a lot of my depressive feelings. It was so difficult. Just after, I don't know, 5 minutes after crossing the border in Poland, I felt how maniac it was before crossing the border. But I think that maybe those primitive defenses helped us to do everything we could.
When did you say goodbye to your husband?
No, 2 days before, 1 day before crossing the border. But we all the time are in touch, so we are all the time talking.
You miss him, no?
Yeah.
You said before that you thought you were gone for 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, this is a kind of defense, right? Wishing that this will be over soon. What is your vision? How do you think this will evolve?
I'm sorry, I didn't have.
How do you think this will evolve?
You know, I think that I'm trying not to. You mean how I predict? Yeah, now, yeah. Now I trying not to predict, because it is very difficult to put some deadlines for being somewhere. I think that I will see how it will be. I decided to keep my life here from place where I am. I'm still working in the university, in my university in Lviv, online. I have lectures. Also, I'm academic director of master program of clinical psychology. So we organized support for people. It's like psychological clinic. It's like crisis counseling, where our master students, those who are more who already have some certificate, like a therapist, are counseling, and so we're doing something like that. I'm still there all the time.
You're still very active. Perhaps this is also part of the manic resistance, no?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
but
of course.
If you know, it's already helpful. Tell me, you're still working, you are still active. What do you see in your patients? You said that your son was anxious, and it's understandable.
Yeah.
What do you see in your patients?
Oh, it's very different. It is very different, and sometimes I'm very surprising what I see, what I observe. Everything is new. We are not, all of us, we are not used to live in war. You know, we are used to live in peace. So I think that every person trying to adapt in own way, in individual way. What is interesting for me? What was interesting for me? I also when I was looking your previous records and previous conversation, when you were asking your guests about masculine and feminine in war, I think it is very interesting because I observe also some interesting patterns. My clients who are young girls or young women, they very blaming or not maybe blaming, but they are suffering that husbands give all libido, all her energy for war, and they are reacting like with very huge envy, or not maybe envy, but sorry,
anger.
Not anger, but they how to tell it in English. It's like triangle, you know. So in this case, it looks like this war is like another woman for those my clients, you know. So that husbands are betraying them with war. They reacting like that.
That's interesting.
Because a lot of energy men are giving to the war. Some of my clients even have some images that maybe they really find something else, you know. I think that it is also defense, but it is very interesting that I think that war really need a lot of psychic energy, of men's psychic energy.
But you see, this makes sense what you say, because the goddess of war was, of course, female.
Mm-hmm.
From Greek mythology.
Yeah, and war is she. In our language,
She, Laguerre, also in Italian is feminine. Yeah, because mythologically the goddess of war was female. But look, you are the second woman I'm able to talk to. And not because I only ask men. I ask as many men, as many women, or maybe much more women, because I know that women have more difficulty because women are reflective, self-reflective. Many women told me, I'm not ready to talk, maybe in a month, maybe two, while men get into the game, maybe their aggressivity, or maybe because of whatever. So I'm very pleased that you and Caterina Vezzoli took time to talk to me. But about this war, I was reading the other day a very important Italian newspaper. It's called La Repubblica. On the 16th of April, so the day before Easter, there was a very interesting article by Arianna Farinelli titled Iryna, Minerva, and the Others. Now we should say maybe Irena, but let's see. Women that challenge regimes. And she said, she looked at history, not only at Russia and Ukraine, but internationally. For example, and Aung San Suu Kyi, that won the Nobel Prize for Peace and then was incarcerated and then became prime minister, then was incarcerated again. But then, of course, she looks at Svitlana Tsikhanouskaya, or Anna Politkovskaya, or the Pussy Riots, or recently Marina Ovzhinnikova. These are women at war in a different way. Yeah, and we can also look at the prime minister, the female prime minister that were in charge when the COVID pandemic started. It seems that they were able to protect better their countries and their citizens. Now, I would like to hear from you, what is the difference between war male, war as females?
I think it is a lot of things there. I think a lot of things. I think I think that one thing is a supportive position of our woman. It is one thing that female feel like they have to give a lot of energy, for example, yeah, to be close to their to men, so it is like it is like, you know, it is very difficult for me to mentalize it, to name it. But because when you asked, I have a lot of things to talk about, and some of them are very ambivalent. Because in one side, I felt that okay, I will start from another point. From dreams of my client. Some dreams of my client now have images of men who are splitted. Though there are figures, some figures, I mean men figure who are like saver, and another one figure who try to abuse. I suppose 3 weeks I get such kind of dreams of some of my clients, and I think that that it shows that that this image and this treating of the war and this situation is really so. Because in one side, women are suffering because they have a lot of attention, investment from husbands, because husbands are all the time in their minds or in their doings in the war. And in another side, they try to support. They try to do what they want, what they need, what man needs from them. But also some of women, what I also observing, try to be like a military sister. I would like to call it like that. To take on, to be next to men and fight together, for example. So that's why I think it is very different. Some are volunteering, supporting, some trying to protect children and doing all the best to protect children. Some I don't know, look for the gun, look for protection for women, and also one of my client is like that, volunteer like that. She's going to Poland, looking for something what is very important for the army, and coming back and getting all those stuff for the army. So it is very different, but I feel that people are trying to do all what they can to do. Some psychologists are all the time giving consultations, this trauma consultation. And at one moment, it was even a very, very interesting situation that those people who want to help and who want to do something were more than things to do. And it brings that people start to suffer, that they cannot invest as many as they can. Sure. So it was like that. It was I suppose first month it was like that. And then now it is it is more stable. It was not like at the very beginning that all people want to do all the best. And
it's interesting because since the beginning of our conversation there is this split, your own split. Should I stay or should I go?
Yeah.
Your patient in the nation. Continuing on the idea, the question is war masculine, is war feminine, is war both? I was shocked the other day when I met this news. You said that Ukrainian women are jealous that the men go to war.
Yeah.
They all do the libido to war. Well, there is an article that is actually taken from investigative journalism from Russian anti-governative platform called Radio Svoboda, who detected chats between a man, a soldier, and his wife. Their name is Olga and Roman. They are originally from Orel, and they moved to Crimea in 2018, so they're Russian. So these men, Roman, from the Russian side, could be seen as a liberator, somebody following the Russian propaganda and going to Ukraine to liberate Ukraine from Nazi, etc., etc., etc. A young man in his 20s. This is not going to be nice what I say, and especially because you're a woman. So this guy, Roman, is asking permission to his wife to rape Ukrainian woman.
Oh yeah, I had it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
She says, okay, rape Ukrainian women, but use a condom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do it, but don't tell me about it.
Yeah.
And then he asked, should I not tell you about it? And she answered, no. So I know nothing about it. And she laughs. And he asked again, can I? Really? Yes, but use the condom. This shows to me that war is also feminine.
Yeah.
Another question that I ask, why war turns normal people into beasts? This is really an example when people turn into beasts. Nothing.
Yeah. It is very. What you are telling this situation. I remember that this was after Bucha, after opening this all what was going on in Bucha, and when it was, it reminds me. It reminds me customary rules. A lot of thousands, I don't know, years ago, it was custom rule that when a tribe is trying to get to the castle or to the land of another tribe, the symbol of getting there, this land, was to rape all women there. And it was custom rule of tribes, of those orda of all this. It's just like historical historian are talking about this. And they had those who were occupied new land. They had to rape all women, and they had to rape land also. It was like a symbol of occupation, symbol of power. That this land is now our land. And I think that this what was going on in Bucha, it was something like that. It was a very primitive, very ancient way of showing that it was like, I don't know, their land, because it is near to Kiev. It is near next to the center and of Ukraine. It is the main castle, let's say like that. So it is very ritual. I don't know. It seemed very ritual, very primitive. So
talking about primitive things is interesting. What Aristophanes around 400 before Christ did, writing about Lysistrata. Lysistrata was an amazing woman who was really good in strategy. And you know, the war between Athens and Sparta was going on since 20 years. So really, there was no way to stop this killing. So she came up with this idea, convincing women from both sides, Athens and Sparta, to so that the men would put down the arms, would stop the war. Well, she suggested that they would stop having sex or making love with their husbands. Yeah, it was a very good way to stop it, and it happened. It's fictional, but the idea is women are really powerful and have way to intervene that men are so primitive and basic don't. And these lead to another question for you. What is this war about? What is this really war about? What is the ultimate meaning of this war?
It is a very difficult question. I don't know what to say, how to answer it. I don't know. We will see. I think we will see. But what can I suppose, what can I tell that, we have very difficult relationship with Russia for several centuries. It is not for 300 years. It is not something what is going on now and here, and it is not like that. So I think that maybe it is about differentiation also. What I hear from Europe also, when some very, very outstanding people are calling Ukrainians and Russians brothers, something like that. And I think that after this war or during this war, we all can see that we are not, that we are not, that it is not something what is total. That we have border, we have different cultures, we have different views, we have different lands, and that we are different. And maybe it is also this war is about, because when everything started at 2014, it was very silent. Nobody hear about it. It was silent. All world thought that it is our inner war, that we are doing something between us. It is our conflict in Ukraine and so on.
Yeah, almost a civil war.
Like yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What happened in the north of Africa since 2012 and 13, or even Afghanistan. But the truth is that this is not a civil war. Europe and the West didn't look at it seriously. Yeah. Didn't understand, as I always say in the previous conversation, your wish for individuation. Not only to move west to Europe and to NATO from a geopolitical point of view, which is now very understandable. Look at also Switzerland, Finland, Sweden that want to become part of the NATO for obvious security reasons. But the individuation of a nation, so being able to self-determine yourself. And I think the early 2000s, when Yanushchenko were the president and swap, and then the Timoshenko, and then 2008, 2006 and 8 and Maidan, is really saying we want to belong. And I always say this in my interviews because it's very important. We want to belong to this side of Europe where the mentality, that it has a political mentality different from the American one, and based on some common traits, an aversion to the use of force, first of all, and therefore an insistence on law and respect for international legality, support for a global system based on liberal multilateral institutions and on human rights, fruit of a past inspired by opposite principles and characterized by centuries of bloody carnage. Precisely this mentality had to push Europe to build a foreign and security policy anchored to the EU, overcoming the stupid and simplistic opposition between war and peace. Western Europe, or Europe, needed World War I and World War II, that one can say were the same war, to get to this, to the recognition of this stability. You want to be part of that. And also your country is very interesting, because if you look at the European map of the 19th century, it is clear that geographically Ukraine was the biggest part of the Ukraine. The northeast was part of the Russian Empire, but the southern part was part of another empire, the Hungarian Empire. Many languages, religions, is a strong Jewish country. Although in the northeast, the Orthodox Church is also very strong. So that exercise that the Austro-Hungarian Empire was of multiculturalism, multinationality, multi-state somehow, is the same example that Europe is trying now in peace. But again, war seems the only option when there are no other option to keep someone there without his or her willing.
You know, when you are talking about this Habsburgs and this Imperial Austria and Poland and Lithuania, those historical, when this western part.
Your grandparents or great grandparents were Hungarians.
No, my grandpa was from Poland. It was so she's Polish, but. It is also interesting that we have in this western part, we have different nationalities, really. Austrians, Poland, Hungary, and Romania also, and still this western part for a long time, this western part still talking in Ukrainian, using Ukrainian language as everyday language, as family language, and so on. And there in this eastern part of Ukraine, Russia was only for 40 years. Only 40 years, and they mostly speak Russian. So for those 40 years, Russia did a lot of not only in this, I mean, not only in this eastern part, but in western part. That for those 40 years, Russia occupied our cultural, maybe cultural different things more than those in other countries for a lot of years. For I know Poland was for 100 years.
How do you feel now about Russia and the Russians?
No, it's very difficult. Very difficult. You know, it is of course it is when we want to talk about feelings, it is angriness, it is hateness, it is a lot of disgust even, like that. Of course, if I would like when I don't even want to talk about them. It is like that I don't want to even think about them. It is like that. But I try to also to keep those emotions in this cognitive level. But I don't know if it is a good idea. Maybe it is better to keep this emotional level, hateness and angriness and all this toward Russians, as well as this Russian elite. So it is like that.
I sense then the reparation is far from be possible right now, or in the future.
Reparation from reparation of what? Reparation of
the relationship with Russians.
I think, you know, Stefan, I think like that to think about reparation now, it is similar for me as to identificate with aggressor. So I'm not thinking in this category. I am thinking how to survive, how to keep our culture. I think how to protect our society from killing, from death, and our culture keep teaching, keep talking with people, but not about cooperation. I don't think that this time it is time for thinking about cooperation, because as I also noticed from conversation from my client processes, that those of them who are more used to identify with aggression are trying to do some cooperation, to write to their friends and so on, and to cooperate. So
I think that those that haven't experienced what being a victim of bully is, they would like to think of reparation, cooperation.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
if
thank you.
you have been a victim of bullying, or this is not possible. An Ukrainian woman, Iryna Semkiv, wrote this recently. When I hear people on the media, journalists, talking about Ukraine and Russia, and the fact that they should meet and talk and hug and repair, I think of that woman that is taken on stage, being pulled by her hair and put in front of the man who abused and raped her the day before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The people that are looking at this are asking for a kiss, for a hug. People want this girl to kiss the man and they make peace. Why? Because the people looking at this, so when we look at the media, when we lived in the West, want to go back as soon as we can to live our own life. We are tired of watching war on TV. We are tired of hearing about this girl that was raped and abused. And we are tired of hearing her story. But this girl who was raped the day before is not feeling good. Her wounds are still bleeding. Her lips are still inflated. And she is asking herself when she's on stage, how long or how much do I have to suffer before somebody will take me seriously? Then the author, Iryna Semkiv and I, asks, it's time for psychologists, psychoanalysts, psychotherapists to step in and tell what is going on to this woman and to this country, actually. This is why I wanted this conversation with you. Mm-hmm. She says, dialogue is not possible now. It's not possible, as you said.
Yeah.
Perhaps one day it will be possible. Yeah? But only in the future, when our wounds will become scars.
Yeah.
Iryna, I thank you very, very much for our conversation. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And I hope one day we will be able to meet.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Stefano, for your invitation and for your work, because I think that it is great investment. What you are doing, you are looking for meaning of what is going on. And I think that if we look at this more collective, it is not only Russian-Ukrainian war. It is war. So I think that it is very important to talk, to think about it, and to look for meaning of all this. Thank you very much.
All the best.
All the best. Bye.